self-awareness and the basis of emotional pain, and some important chemicals in our brains that help us feel the way we do. And you can ask any questions meanwhile. And yeah, oh, also, from previous meeting, I didn't introduce, this is a very tiny, but it's going to be our mascot. It's a neuron, and his name is Cookie Toe Dendry. But yeah, so
Pass it around.
if you want to. So first, I'll talk about the parts of the brain and that are related to emotions. Okay. And you can just leave it there. And then
I don't think we're done yet. I passed it to you guys. I'm sorry.
you can just leave it there. And so the first part of our emotional brain is the amygdala, which processes your negative emotions like fear and anger, fight, flight, and freeze responses, and all of those bad emotions.
Oh.
It's the one that's like aggressive and will respond really quickly to threat. Then we have the hippocampus, which will link our emotions right now to previous memories. Like if you're taking a test and you're really nervous, that's probably because the previous time you took a test, it wasn't like a good experience. So it gives you like, you know why you're feeling that way because it's past experiences. Then you have the hypothalamus, and it controls your physical stress responses. So if you're, again, nervous, you might sweat a little, breathe really hard, have a fast heartbeat, jump a lot, and stutter, things like that. And that's because of your hypothalamus. It controls your body and makes them relatable to your emotions. And this is the ACC. Here it says anterior cingulate cortex. It's a long name, so I'm just going to call it ACC. It processes your emotional pain and empathy. It connects your logical brain with your emotional brain, and makes your own morals, ethics, and all of that. Like when you make a decision, you have to calculate, measure the emotional side of it and the logical side of your decisions, and that's what the ACC does. Okay, and then we have the insula. And the insula will bring you your emotional awareness. It'll give you emotional awareness, know what you're feeling, and also it will tell you how you're physically doing. So remember, your hypothalamus will control your physical stress responses, and your insula won't have you be aware of them. So they work together a lot. And finally, we have the prefrontal cortex, which will check your emotions and make sure like they're not extreme. And yeah. So that was a lot, and I want to give you a little analogy. This is my drawing. It's not very good. I didn't have a lot of time on it. So to put that in like a drawing, and this is the brain as a garden. Let's imagine the brain is a garden, at least the emotional brain. So the amygdala, with your negative emotions and all of that, would be like a watchdog, and it'll growl in response to threat. And it will warn you when there's like problems, and maybe it's wrong, maybe it isn't a problem at all. So the PFC, the prefrontal cortex, will decide whether to respond to that threat or not. And so it's like the gardener of the entire garden, and it will decide whether to respond to the things the other parts are telling it to or not. We have the anterior cingulate cortex, ACC, which is a pathway, links the emotional brain and the logical brain together. We have the hippocampus, which are our memory networker. They're little sprouts because they're the seed bank, storing every experience and to grow. in future wisdom. The insula is the dirt in here because it's with sensations, warmth, and heartbeat and breath and water and all of that. So the insula it's linked to awareness. We have the hypothalamus, which is the irrigation system, and it balances water, temperature, and energy inside your body. It controls your physical stress responses. Again, and that was a lot of things. And so I'll ask you a few questions. So, what brain part handles fear and anger? Okay, yes, okay.
The amygdala.
Memory?
Any multiple choices?
Okay. Let's say the insula, the ACC, and the hippocampus. Okay.
The hippocampus.
Huh?
What did he say?
The hippocampus.
Oh, okay. Is it right?
You should have been taking notes.
Sorry,
Bye,
the
bye.
brain part.
You should have brought a notepad or something.
Empathy and emotional pain. I presented to
Is that
Ty.
the ACC?
Yes.
Good.
Bodily responses for emotions, like heartbeats or temperature. And, yes.
Insula.
Well, that brings your awareness to your bodily responses. It works together. It's this one, the hypothalamus.
Okay.
Regulating emotions, checking them, and do you hear it? Okay, all of that. Checking them, make sure they're logical, and yeah. Okay.
The prefrontal cortex.
Yeah, the prefrontal cortex will control how you check your emotions, your amygdala with your fear and anger, your hippocampus with memory, the ACC with emotional pain and empathy, the hypothalamus for emotions, and the prefrontal cortex for regulating emotions. It's a lot of names.
Did you study before coming here?
Once over.
I could
Repeat
imagine.
it to us over and over again.
That's what I was gonna say, practice. That's good.
And so, in adolescence, usually that's when your amygdala starts maturing, which your negative emotions, your entire emotional system starts developing. And so, and your prefrontal cortex, which checks those emotions, usually only matures around your 20s. So your amygdala will develop earlier than your prefrontal cortex, which means that your negative or any emotions in general are stronger while you're in your teenage years, and you don't have the thing that checks them as strong as your emotions. So that's why teenagers are thought to be more emotional in their years because the prefrontal cortex hasn't developed alongside the amygdala yet. And so I thought, Daddy, you can be the team prefrontal cortex, and I'll be team amygdala. And if you want to join, we'll have a tug of war, and to see whether the
He's by himself. Be careful.
Come on, my hand, wait! Ow! Wait!
Rope burn, rope burn.
All right.
Yes.
Next time you have to pack band-aids, okay?
Bring some gloves.
Have a first aid kit handy.
Yeah.
And so now I wanted to tell you guys where your emotions go when they go through your brain. And I'm talking about the emotional brain right now. So, since in Inside Out 2, Riley's a teenager and her emotions change in the movie at least, I wanted to use a scenario like Riley will see some girls whispering about her, maybe about her, we don't know, in a corner. And so, where would that go for her brain? So, the thalamus is a passer-on. It will just pass it on to the amygdala, which will give you immediate surge of worry, and will make quick assumptions, rash assumptions, like they're talking about me, or something like that. And the prefrontal cortex will then calm it down and say, maybe they're planning for a surprise party, or like, talking something that's completely not related to you. That will go to the hippocampus, which will link this experience with previous experiences. Hopefully you don't have previous experiences, but if you do, it will link it to it and make it personal. Then from the hippocampus, it'll go to the hypothalamus, which will tell your body how to respond. It depends whether the amygdala wins and the prefrontal cortex. Let's say like the amygdala wins and she is worried that her friends might be like gossiping about her. Then it will release some chemicals that will make you worried, and maybe like your heart will beat quicker or something like that. Then your insula will make sure you know that that's happening to you. It'll bring your body into awareness. From there, it'll go to the ACC, which will connect this situation to identity. So why is she nervous that friends are talking about her? That's because you care about belonging and you care to have social relationships, and you don't want your other friends to like talk about you disrespectfully. And then I'll first explain what neurotransmitters are in the next slide. But these are chemical messengers in your body, in your brain, that will tell you, will give you some emotional feel, like it's the thing that controls your emotions. They're chemical signals. These are just some of them that I'm going to talk about here, and I'll explain. But some are serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine, or also called noradrenaline. I won't quiz you on these names. They're very complicated.
I was gonna take a picture of the screen. I'm like, wait a minute.
So, a neurotransmitter, like I said, is a chemical messenger, and it's released in neurons. This is a neuron, and they send electrical signals as they communicate. But emotionally, they also send chemical signals. So over here there's a white box. It's a little small, but they expanded it here. So these little red things, it's not like completely accurate, but these little red things are neurotransmitter molecules, and this is from the other neuron, and they receive it. And depending on like how they receive it, depends how the other neuron will respond. So let's say it's a calming chemical, then the neuron won't do anything. It won't shoot another electrical signal. But if it's a really exciting one and makes you happy or motivated, then it'll keep shooting a lot. It depends. So these things like tell the next neuron what to do. So another analogy is like if the city, if the brain was a city, every house or building would be a neuron. And let's imagine this is a very connected community that sends letters really often. Every house and every building has a mailbox. And this is a very, 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 very big city. There's about like 800 million or something neurons in your body, something like that. Every house and building has a mailbox, and a neurotransmitter would be a letter, and it might be a chain letter and telling you to send it to other people, or it might be one that you keep to yourself and you don't do anything about it. So, yeah, and that's it. Neurons sending electrical signals. So first, I'll talk about serotonin, which that's the chemical signal. You don't have, like the chemical diagram, you don't have to worry about it. I just thought it was interesting. So, your your serotonin determines your balance in your body. If you're overexcited, it'll calm you down. If you're really, really calm, it'll hype you up. And so it's the one that keeps your overall balance in your body. It doesn't make you too extreme on one side or the other. So they are made, serotonin is made in something called a raphe nucleus, and it's not blue. It's just blue in there. But there will be a part of the brain that is blue that I'll talk about later. And it'll go, and this is where it sends serotonin to. That's its pathway, like where serotonin would be sent across the brain. And we have dopamine, which, have you heard of that before? Yeah?
Question.
It's like if you eat like ice cream, your body wants to do it again.
Yeah. It's like rewarding and happy and motivating and really exciting. Yeah, like if you eat ice cream, you probably want to do it again. It tells your body what to do and so where it's made is in the substantia nigra. This is a cross section of the back of the cerebellum and the VTA. The difference between these two, this is the VTA, by the way, the blue part. The difference between these two is that this one will make dopamine when you're happy, immediately happy. You open a box at Christmas, a present at Christmas, and you like it, and so it'll release dopamine. Now the VTA is different because it will produce dopamine when anticipating or thinking you will get a reward. So that's why you're happy when you wake up and it's Christmas and you know it's Christmas, even though it just looks like every other day. You're excited because you know what's going to happen because of your hippocampus, which connects it to previous Christmases. And so drugs like nicotine and opioids and those drugs will hijack the VTA and will make it produce dopamine even when nothing's happening. So that's why people enjoy. Well, this is one reason why people enjoy it when they're addicted or things. It releases dopamine in your brain. And then finally, there's norepinephrine, which it helps. It makes you nervous, aroused, focused. It may be associated with nervousness or focused or both. And it's made in the locus coeruleus, which actually is a little blue part in your brain. So one part of your brain is actually blue, which I thought was interesting. You usually imagine it pink or something. Now I'll show you some Inside Out 2 clips, and I'll ask you a few questions. Why are the questions here? Okay, sorry, never mind. We'll press it, puppy. And I'll tell you when to pause. So.
Play.
But you have to go, remember? It's not there. Sorry, real quick. Okay.
Hello, everybody.
Why do you think, what do they all have in common? If you don't know, I can move on.
I would say that during this stage is where friendships and social connections become more significant compared to, at least on a cognitive level, compared to early childhood.
Yeah, exactly. So these are all social emotions. Envy, it includes other people. You have to be envious of other people and they have the things you don't. Or embarrassment, because you're embarrassed of other people. Anxiety, you want to be better for them. Boredom, I'm not sure about boredom actually. But all of these are social emotions, and in history, before at least, like teenagers is where they would marry and have jobs and they would be far away from their family, or something. So to live, you need to have connections with other people. So your brain included these emotions during teenagers. God created these because it was important to live. You needed to have emotions which made you accepted in a social community. That's how they got to, they had to survive, right? You need to have connections with other people. So, in your experience, unless you haven't unless you aren't teenagers yet, do you think these emotions are helpful or harmful or like a mix of them?
I think helpful.
Yeah. They help you make friends with other people and connect with them, and they help you survive.
Sometimes harmful too, because that other part of the brain, I don't remember, but it's not developed yet. It's
Yeah,
not
the
fully
prefrontal
developed, so
cortex.
then sometimes they're difficult to control.
Uh-huh.
And you can
Yeah.
spiral into other, like actions.
Mhm.
Right, so.
Like anxiety, it might not be healthy for yourself, but it also will help you with other people, right? Get along with other people. So generally it's thought of as a mix. And yes.
Anxiety?
Yeah. Riley breathed heavily and she crushed her heart, yeah. And that was a panic attack in the movie movie style. And so, do you guys remember what part of the brain connects them to your body system? Like connects your emotions to your body system?
Hypothalamus.
Yeah. The hypothalamus. Really. And so your hypothalamus will control that. Nothing was happening to her physically, but she was having a panic attack emotionally inside her mind. And she would have no reason to do that if you weren't in her mind. But the hypothalamus activated that. And so in an effort to calm her down. How do you think the balance between norepinephrine, which was like the focus, nervousness, that thing, and serotonin, the balancer, the stabilizer, what do you think it would look like? Do you think it would be more norepinephrine, more serotonin, balanced in a panic attack? Yeah, more nervousness and less balanced in your body. So I'll talk about self-awareness. Do you guys know what that is? Do you have a definition for it? Yes?
Knowing yourself
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
how you're feeling.
Uh-huh. Yes. It's when you are conscious that these thoughts, feelings, and memories are yours and not other people, and you know yourself. Yeah. And so, what brain parts would be involved in self-awareness? Like I said in the beginning, you might not remember it. In the insula it gives you emotional awareness, knowing what you're feeling. Before I came here, I was a little nervous, and I know that because of my insula. That's my insula working, naming what I'm feeling, and it monitors inside your body. We have the MPFC, which is a specific part of your prefrontal cortex, the purple part over here, that purple part, and it creates a mental model of yourself. It observes your thought choices. It's like in movies, you have a devil here and you have an angel here, and that's weighing your own pros and cons and what decision would be most beneficial to you. And that's what the MPFC would do. And also, like in adolescence, MPFC activity will reach a high, it'll be really active. And so, not developing, it develops at the 20s, but it's really active during adolescence. So, teens are very self-conscious, generally speaking, about the decisions they do because they're second thinking their options and things like that. That's because this is really active during your teenage years. Then we have the TPJ. It's in between these two, the green and the yellow part of the brain. It's the J stands for junction because it's in between them. So this one was more like how it would affect yourself, how a decision would affect yourself. The TPJ will control how it affects other people. And so it's crucial for understanding social rules, like thou shalt not murder, and thou shalt not steal, and thou shalt not lie, like the 10 Commandments, like, maybe they're beneficial to yourself, right? You're lying, you get something, but it hurts other people. And most people try not to do it because the TPE tells us that it hurts other people, and we don't want that, right? It's also important for empathy and relating to other people. Yeah, it compares your MPFC, your self-model, to how others might see you as like a liar or something like that. Finally, we have the PCC and precunious. The PCC will connect your past self to your future self and make yourself, you have a life story. Like, I'm really interested in neuroscience right now, in my past as well, and I want to be a neuroscientist when I grow up, right? So that's why PCC at work. And it also controls self-relevance, how much something has to do with yourself. Like, maybe if we got a baby here, it wouldn't understand a thing, and also if it did, it wouldn't care. It's not an adolescence right now. So yeah, the PCC will also make sure you know what's up, like what you can relate to and you felt before. The precunious is like the imagination. It helps you daydream. Like you have mental imagery. If you read Alice in the Wonderland, and for some reason I thought Alice in Wonderland, it has a lot of descriptions, and like if you haven't read it, there's a scene where the queen plays croquet, and I remember that really well, and I can conjure it in my mind, and that's the precunious. And yeah, the PCC is basically the P steps for posterior, which means behind, anterior is in front, and it's pretty much the same as the ACC. Together they're the cingulate cortexes, I think, right? Cingulate cortexes, something like that. And then I'll talk about emotional pain. And also, this is cortisol is a hormone that makes you feel stressed and worried and anxious and all of those emotions. Cortisol will increase. Oh wait, sorry. Cortisol will increase. Sorry, I got ahead. So parts related to emotional pain is the trigger, which would. Sorry, hang on. I'll start over. It starts with the trigger when you have emotional pain. Social exclusion, a breakup, bullying, hurt from other people, or yourself. Your amygdala will fire really strongly. It doesn't want to think about that. The brain takes it as a threat to social safety. Your amygdala will fire just as much if it's physical pain or emotional pain. So like physical pain isn't more strong. Hi, Colleen. Than emotional pain, which some people might think, but the amygdala actually sends as much signals when you hurt yourself or you're hurting yourself in your mind, in body and mind. It's the same. It fires the same. So the same hurt. The ACC will process the unpleasantness. You'll feel that it hurts a lot and it'll last a long time. And it's the same also, ACC is the same place that processes physical pain. So again, your brain can't really differentiate well between your emotional pain and your physical pain. Your insula will also activate and make you have a feeling in your body. Your hippocampus will store it as a powerful memory. It will stand out from the others because your amygdala will tell it to. So that's why you might remember, you have more memories, or you can remember them better if they have an emotional feel to them. If you were standing in line for a really long time, for like a few hours, and it was really boring to you, you felt nothing, you might not remember it like a month later as if you did when you went to candy shop and got a sugar crash or something. So your anterior cingulate cortex, your insula, your amygdala, your hippocampus, and your prefrontal cortex will activate. Your prefrontal cortex will try really hard to check all of these, but it probably won't work in emotional pain. Okay, so cortisol, the stress hormone, will increase, and so will norepinephrine. There'll be a lot of it. And then your transmitter, nervousness, arousal, focus. So all of these will grow when you have a lot of hurt inside of you. And so your brain, these parts will work together and cause that emotion.
Question.
Yes,
Is there a normal range of cortisol level?
there is, but I don't remember. So, yeah.
Homework
Good
for us.
question.
I said homework for us.
Sure.
Most of your change, very dynamic. Sometimes you just during the day you're very stressed out, you are exercise, so the word, yeah, it's very dynamic.
Yes, it is. So there are some changes, like in your brain itself, when you're in adolescence, and so I'll talk about that. The limbic system stands for the emotional brain. It's like the fancy term for it. So your amygdala, most of your brain doesn't grow during any part of your life, really, but your amygdala, which over here, will actually increase in volume for about 10% to 60%. Depends on your like how you are normal, like your environmental, your heredity, your genetics, all of that. But it will grow, and it's one of the only ones that will actually change in your brain. And it usually grows earlier for women and later for men. A small study found that out, so it might not be trustworthy, it might just be a coincidence.
That's probably right.
But so it's
For all it's
hoping
worth.
that women are more emotional than men sometimes. But that might be a reason. Your hippocampus will actually, its connections together will strengthen and grow, and they'll be very strong with each other. So they send electrical signals, right? They'll have a lot of fat insulating the signals while they're sent. And so you might have better memory, emotional memory specifically, because the amygdala will trigger the hippocampus to remember it as a special memory, and like emotional memory. And so your hippocampus will actually strengthen, your memory will improve when you're in teenage years, usually. Yeah, and I think those two are what will happen. Actual changes in your brain during teenage years. And so...
Well, you're talking about the physical size, right?
Yeah, the physical size, and also the amount of fat and insulation in around neurons to keep them, yeah. And so, thank you all so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed it.
Wonderful job.
We made some stickers, some Neuroscience Club stickers, if you want to take them. And also,
Do you want to pass them around?
okay, we can do like that.
You can.
Microscope, so we can see a neuron under the microscope. That one will be mainly, hopefully for younger kids. I'll talk about the parts of the neuron, specifically how the neuron was discovered. And we'll make this metal neuron with pipe cleaners and things that I make, but it fell off in the car a little bit. But so this is like a motor neuron, and we'll do that there. And it's in pipe because the greenhouse will be closed for renovation. If you wanna come, we actually finished a little early, so I speak a little quick, sorry about